The alien fleets floated in silence. Thousands of ships had surrounded the humans, certain of their victory. Yet now, every eye was fixed on the massive vessel that had emerged from a void. It was no ordinary starship. Its hull stretched like a continent, black and sharp, built from metals the scanners could not identify. Energy pulsed beneath its surface, too strong to measure. Even the largest alien dreadnoughts looked like fragile toys beside it. Whispers filled the command bridges of alien warships. Is it a station? No, it moves like a ship. But the registry shows nothing. It does not exist. Panic edged their voices, though most tried to hide it. The Jaw Admiral, commander of the invasion, stood tall and proud, though sweat beaded his scaled forehead. He slammed his clawed fist on the table. It does not matter what tricks humans bring. One ship cannot stop an empire. He ordered the fleet to fire. Weapons charged. Thousands of cannons lit the darkness, glowing red and blue. Beams of plasma streaked through space. Missiles tore across the void. Explosions painted the black sky. The power of entire star systems was unleashed. And yet, nothing touched the human ship. The beams bent away, swallowed by invisible shields. Missiles vanished before impact, dissolving into dust. Shockwaves curved as if space itself obeyed the giant vessel. Alien crews shouted in confusion. Our shots, gone. The missiles, they turned to ash. Impossible. No ship can do this. Still, the human ship did not move. It simply drifted forward, calm, silent, unstoppable. On Earth's command bridge, Captain Elias Ward stood at the center of the great vessel. His face was hard, his voice steady. Around him, human officers worked without panic. Status? Ward asked. Shields intact. No damage, replied his first officer, a woman named Hayes. Ward nodded. Maintain course. Send one more warning. Across the alien fleet, human words cut through the static once more. This is your final chance. Leave now, or be destroyed. The aliens roared in anger. Pride burned hotter than fear. The Jaw Admiral spat. Empty threats. Break their silence. Attack again. The order spread. Once more, alien fleets unleashed their power. Once more, nothing touched the human ship. The Jaw Admiral snarled. How can one vessel defy us all? And then, for the first time, the human ship answered. Lights rippled across its hull. Its vast cannons awoke, glowing with energy never seen before. Some were larger than entire alien cruisers. The ship's engines flayed, bending the starlight around them. And then it fired. One shot. Just one. A single beam of white light cut across the void. It passed through an alien battleship, as if the ship was made of glass. Then another, then three more, vaporized instantly. The beam didn't even slow. It kept going, tearing through dozens of vessels in a single line, vanishing only after burning deep into the blackness of space. Silence fell. In seconds, an entire squadron was gone. Alien crews froze at their stations. Commanders could not speak. Thousands of eyes watched as fire consumed their comrades, as wreckage drifted like ash in the dark. The Jaw Admiral's voice broke at last. What have the humans built? Rumors spread quickly across the alien fleet. Some whispered it was not built, it was found. Others swore it was a relic from ancient wars, powered by technology lost for eons. A few, trembling, said it was alive. But whatever it was, one truth became clear. This was not just a ship. It was something greater. The humans had named it Solsroth, and to the galaxy it was becoming a nightmare. The human commander gave no speeches, no taunts, no joy. Captain Ward only spoke once more. You were warned. And with that, the ship fired again. This time, dozens of beams spread across the void. Alien cruisers shattered, carriers burst apart, dreadnoughts broke in half. Whole wings of fighters vanished in blinding light. The aliens fought back desperately, but their weapons passed harmlessly against the human vessel. Nothing touched it. Nothing slowed it. The battle had become a massacre. On one alien bridge, a young officer shook with fear. Admiral, we must retreat. It is not a ship, it is a world killer. The Admiral's pride faltered. His claws trembled as he gave the order no one thought he would ever give. Withdraw. All ships, withdraw. Panic spread through the fleet. Warships turned and fled, abandoning comrades, abandoning honor. The once proud armada broke apart, scattering into the void. But not all escaped. The human ship cut down those too slow to flee, beams sweeping like the scythe of death. Hundreds of ships were erased, their crews never even screaming before they were gone. When the firing ended, silence returned. Only wreckage drifted where once had stood the might of an empire. Fires burned across shattered hulls. Bodies floated into the endless dark. And there, alone in the void, the human ship remained, untouched, unbroken, watching. The survivors sent desperate transmissions back to the Council. Broken voices carried across the stars. One ship, one human ship, ended us. Not technology, not science, it is something else. They warned us, and we did not listen. The messages spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The joke of humanity, the weaklings of Earth, had unleashed something the Council could not explain. In the Council chamber, silence reigned once more. The younger leaders who had mocked Earth now stared at the reports in horror. Even the proudest voices trembled. The old counselor who had warned them before spoke again, his tone grim. I told you, humans hide what they fear to show. And when they are silent, they are preparing. You did not listen. And now, empires will fall. Suspense hook, end of part 2. The battle was over, but the galaxy was only beginning to understand what had happened. The Jor Empire had sent one of the largest fleets in its history. Thousands of ships, carriers, dreadnoughts, and cruisers, all gone. Their wrecks now floated in the cold silence of space. And in the center of that graveyard, the lone human starship drifted calmly. Its black hull reflected the burning light of dying vessels, like a shadow cutting through fire. The name whispered across alien channels now carried terror. Soul's Wrath. Across the galaxy, worlds trembled as the news spread. In trading hubs, citizens argued in fear. How can one ship do this? It must be a weapon from the first wars. No, it's impossible. The humans are primitives. But the evidence was clear. Entire fleets had fallen, and only one human vessel had fought. The council chambers shook with panic. Reports came in from survivors. Their words were broken, desperate, almost mad. They bent our weapons away. Our missiles turned to dust. Beams of light, too fast to track. Whole squadrons gone in one breath. It was not a battle, it was slaughter. Silence filled the chamber. For once, no one laughed at humanity. Meanwhile, aboard Soul's Wrath, Captain Ward stood on the command deck. His officers moved quietly, efficient and calm. To them, this was no surprise. Casualties? Ward asked. None, Captain. Shields at full. Systems stable. Ward nodded. Good. Transmit the message. A signal pulsed across the void, carried to every listening ship, every open frequency. Humanity does not seek war. But if war is forced upon us, we will finish it. Simple words. But they carried weight. The Jor Empire was furious. Their emperor raged in his throne room, his claws tearing the stone around him. Never before had his fleets suffered such defeat, and never at the hands of humans. They cannot be allowed to exist, he roared. Summon every fleet, every ship. We will drown them in fire. Orders spread. Across the empire, shipyards emptied. New fleets gathered, greater than the first. Their commanders swore oaths of revenge. But hidden behind their rage was fear. Fear of that single ship. Fear of what might come next. The Second War came quickly. The Jor Empire hurled another armada at Earth borders, 10,000 ships strong, the largest fleet seen in centuries. They advanced like a storm, confident that sheer numbers would bury the humans. And once more, Soul's Wrath was waiting. The alien fleet spread across the void, a wall of firepower that stretched for light hours. They came with dreadnoughts the size of cities, with carriers holding endless wings of fighters. Their admirals laughed bitterly, certain this time would be different. Even the strongest weapon cannot face an ocean, one declared. We are the ocean, but oceans can burn. When the battle began, the galaxy watched. Hundreds of worlds tuned their networks to the live feeds, hungry to see humanity broken, or to see the impossible happen again. At first, the alien fleet advanced in waves. Fighters swarmed like locusts, bombers poured missiles into the dark, beams of plasma lit up the stars. The void itself seemed to burn, but Sol's wrath did not retreat. Its great cannons awoke once more, and the darkness came alive with fire. One shot, and a carrier vanished, its fighters burning before they could launch. Another shot, and a dreadnought broke apart, its wreck spinning into its allies. The beams came faster now, sweeping like scythes across the battlefield. Dozens of ships vanished with each strike. Hundreds more followed. The alien fleet's confidence shattered. This cannot be. Our numbers are nothing. It cuts us down like grass. Worse still, strange weapons emerged from Sol's wrath. Massive orbs of light separated from its hull, drifting silently before exploding into waves of energy. Alien shields collapsed instantly, leaving ships helpless. Then came the drones, smaller craft launched from hidden bays. Not thousands, not millions, just a handful. But each drone was as deadly as a cruiser, striking with precision, tearing through enemy lines. The aliens fired back desperately. Whole wings of ships targeted the drones. Others unleashed fire on the human vessel itself. But again, the weapons bent away, fading into nothing. It was as if the laws of the universe had been rewritten, and only humanity knew the new rules. The galaxy watched in horror as the greatest fleet of the Jor Empire disintegrated. Fires burned across the stars, wreckage drifted, screams echoed on comms until they were silenced forever. And through it all, Sol's wrath did not slow. Alien survivors fled, just as before. Their transmissions carried terror across the stars. 10,000 ships destroyed. One human warship, fire across the stars. The Empire is broken. In the Council, chaos reigned. Some demanded immediate surrender to Earth. Others shouted for alliances, desperate to stand against the humans before it was too late. But no one had answers. The old counselor spoke again, his voice heavy with sorrow. You do not understand. This is not only a weapon. It is a message. Humans did not build fleets because they never needed fleets. One ship alone carries the weight of their will. The chamber fell into silence. The laughter of old was gone. Back on Sol's wrath, Captain Ward looked out across the battlefield of broken ships. His crew awaited his command. Where next, Captain? Hayes asked softly. Ward's eyes were cold. We move deeper. The Jor must understand. If they force war, it will not end at their fleets. It will end at their throne. The massive engines roared to life, bending the starlight once more. The human ship turned toward the heart of the Empire, and across the galaxy, every world knew the truth. Empires had fallen before, but never like this. Never to one ship. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. 10,000 warships of the Jor Empire destroyed. Whole fleets erased in minutes. Their admirals dead, their carriers shattered, their dreadnoughts turned to drifting wrecks. And still, the human vessel remained. Sol's wrath moved through the ashes of war like a predator through a field of bones. Untouched, unbroken, unstoppable. Across alien worlds, fear grew. On market streets, citizens whispered, the humans, they ended an empire's fleet with one ship. In schools, children asked, if they can do this, why do they need more ships? Priests of distant faiths claimed it was divine punishment, that humanity carried the judgment to the stars. And in military command centers, admirals stared at the battle recordings again and again, trying to find weakness. They found none, but the Jor Emperor refused to surrender. In his great palace of black stone, he raged. His voice shook the walls, his claws tore the marble floor. This cannot be. No world, no species, no humans will defy me, he thundered. Summon the High Council of War. We will strike again. We will drown Earth in fire. His advisors bowed low, hiding their fear, but one dared to speak. My Emperor, we have already lost 2 fleets. If we attack again, we may have nothing left to defend our own worlds. The Emperor's eyes blazed. Then build more. Draft every ship. Call every soldier. If it takes the entire empire, so be it. I will see Earth burn. His words were fire, but deep in his heart, a shadow had taken root. Fear. Meanwhile, Sol's wrath moved forward, deeper into Jaw territory. On the bridge, Captain Elias Ward stood calm as always, his gaze steady. Around him, his officers worked with precision. No one celebrated their victory. There was nothing to celebrate. Enemy transmissions intercepted. Hayes reported. The Empire called for reinforcements. They want every ship in their borders to stand against us. Ward's expression did not change. Let them gather. They must learn. A young officer swallowed hard. So, forgive me, but if they send everything, can even we? Ward's cold eyes silenced him. This ship is not alone. Remember that. The officer nodded, though he did not understand. None of them truly understood what Sol's wrath was, or why it had been built. They only knew it was humanity's greatest weapon. On distant council worlds, panic spread. Delegates screamed at each other, demanding action. Some wanted to ally with Earth immediately, offering tribute and peace. Others demanded that every empire unite, before humans erase them all. The old counselor, the one who had warned them from the beginning, rose once more. His voice was calm but heavy with truth. You still do not understand, he said. Humans are not waging war for conquest. They do not burn fleets for glory. They warned us, and we ignored them. Now, they are showing us what happens when Earth is mocked. Some scoffed, unwilling to believe. Others lowered their eyes, fear taking root. But everyone knew the galaxy had changed forever. In Jaw space, rebellion sparked like fire on dry grass. Worlds under the Empire's rule whispered, if humans can destroy the fleets, perhaps the Empire can fall. On one mining colony, slaves threw down their chains and shouted, one ship defeated them. One ship. The Empire is broken. The Emperor crushed the rebellions quickly, but he knew the truth. Fear was spreading faster than his soldiers could stop it. His empire was bleeding. Sol's wrath pressed on. Alien scouts followed at a distance, too afraid to get close. They reported its every movement back to their leaders. But the more they watched, the stranger their reports became. It does not need resupply. It does not slow. It does not sleep. It consumes nothing, yet it burns endlessly. One scout ship got too close. In seconds, it was gone, erased by a single beam of light. The survivors of that scouting wing sent their final message back to their commanders. It watches us. It knows we are here. We are prey. The Jaw Emperor finally gathered his last hope, a fleet beyond fleets. Every shipyard was emptied, every vessel pressed into service. Civilian transports were fitted with cannons, freighters armed with missiles. It was not just a military force now. It was the entire empire, desperate to survive. 100,000 ships answered his call, the largest armada ever seen. The Emperor stood before them in his palace, broadcasting across the empire. His voice was iron, though his heart was ice. Humans are liars. Their strength is trickery. But we are many, and the many shall crush the few. Stand with me, and we will erase the shadow from the stars. The people cheered, but it was hollow. Behind their cries of loyalty, doubt grew stronger. Could even 100,000 ships stop what one human vessel had already done? On Sol's wrath, the crew watched the transmissions in silence. An entire empire gathered against us, Hayes said softly. Sir, what do we do? Ward's eyes stayed fixed on the stars ahead. We end this. Suspense Hook ended Part 4. The largest armada in galactic history was forming, 100,000 ships ready to face a single human warship. But Sol's wrath was not slowing. And soon, the galaxy would learn whether one starship could truly end an empire. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer filled with laughter. Where once alien leaders mocked Earth as weak, now silence ruled. A giant hologram of the battlefield floated in the center. Alien fleets, massive armadas of hundreds of ships, were marked in red. Earth's fleet, small and scattered, was marked in blue. But at the center of that blue cluster was one ship, the ship that had ended two empires in a single strike. The alien counselors could not believe what they saw. "This is impossible," one lizard-like general hissed. "No single vessel can carry weapons strong enough to erase entire fleets." "It is no vessel," the old alien replied. His eyes were dark, his voice heavy. "It is something far worse. The humans built it to fight wars we cannot imagine." The younger leaders shook their heads. "No, humans are fragile. Their worlds are poor. Their history is full of weakness. How could they build such a monster?" But even as they argued, a broken transmission from the battlefield cut through the chamber. Static, then a desperate alien voice. "Do not engage. It is not a ship. It is death itself." The signal ended with silence. Every counselor stared at the hologram. The human warship moved slowly, like a predator that did not fear prey. Then, without warning, it fired again. One beam of white light cut across the void. An entire alien battleship group, 50 ships, disappeared in less than a second. Gasps echoed through the chamber. "Impossible!" shouted the insectoid speaker. "Nothing in this galaxy has such power. Nothing." But the old alien whispered again. "You fools! You laughed at Earth. You mocked their weakness. And now their strength has arrived." Across the galaxy, fear spread. Alien fleets began to retreat. Entire empires pulled their borders back, afraid the human ship might appear next. The humans had not sent messages. They had not offered peace. They had sent one ship, and the galaxy now understood its purpose. Not defense, not pride, but a warning. The War Council broke into chaos. Some shouted for immediate surrender to humanity. Others demanded more fleets, more weapons, more science to copy the humans. But the old alien only shook his head. "You cannot fight what you do not understand. That ship is not only steel and weapons. It carries the will of a species you mocked for centuries, a will you cannot break." As the chamber roared with panic, a new message appeared on their screens. It was from Earth. Simple words, in plain galactic code. One ship was enough. The council fell silent again, because they all knew the words were true. The Galactic Council chamber trembled as the news spread. The human warship was moving. It was no longer circling battlefields or striking fleets. Its course was direct, straight toward the capital world of the Council itself. Alarms rang across the city. Civilian ships scrambled to flee. Planetary shields powered up, glowing like a blue wall around the homeworld. Billions of eyes turned to the sky, waiting, fearing. The council leaders shouted over one another in panic. "Send more fleets. Call every empire's reserves. We must stop it here, or we are finished." But the old alien stood in silence. His gaze was fixed on the hologram. The human ship glided forward, calm and unstoppable. "It will not matter," he said at last. His voice carried across the chamber. "No war will hold it. No fleet will stop it. The humans are not showing strength. They are showing truth." The insectoid leader snapped his claws in frustration. "Truth? What truth?" "That the galaxy is not ours to rule anymore," the elder whispered. Above the planet, the void grew brighter. The human warship appeared, so massive it blotted out the stars behind it. Its hull glowed faintly, covered with strange patterns, as if alive. Alien defense fleets swarmed. Hundreds of ships formed a wall, blocking its path. Their weapons locked, their engines burning hot. "Open fire," a commander screamed. The sky lit up with thousands of blasts. Beams, torpedoes, missiles, all hurled at the lone human vessel. But the ship did not dodge. It did not shield. It simply absorbed the storm. Weapons that could shatter moons faded into nothing against its hull. And then, silence. The human ship answered with a single pulse of light. Every alien ship in orbit vanished, burned away in an instant, leaving nothing but drifting ash. The planet shook as the warship descended, stopping just outside the shield barrier. Its shadow covered entire cities. On the ground, civilians screamed. Leaders fell to their knees. Soldiers threw down their weapons. The Galactic Council received one final transmission. A human voice. Calm. Cold. You laughed at Earth. You mocked our weakness. Now you see the truth. We do not need armies. We do not need fleets. We need only one ship. The chamber froze. No one spoke. No one dared breathe. The human voice continued. This is not war. This is warning. Do not strike at Earth again. Do not test us again, or this ship will return. The message ended. For a long time, the Council waited. Would the ship fire? Would it burn their planet as it had their fleets? But no attack came. Instead, the warship turned slowly, rising back into the void. With a final flash of light, it vanished into hyperspace, leaving only silence behind. Across the galaxy, one truth spread like fire. Humanity had no need to conquer. Their single warship had already ended empires and shattered fear into the hearts of all who had mocked them. From that day forward, no alien laughed at Earth again. The Galactic Council chamber was full. Leaders from 100 worlds gathered around the great table of light, their voices sharp, their faces proud. The subject of the meeting was simple: Earth. Reports had spread across the stars. Humans were joining the outer trade routes, sending small fleets to guard their convoys. Many thought it was laughable. A tall Varnic general raised his voice, his forearms crossed with arrogance. Humans? Their ships are nothing but toys. Cargo shuttles with guns strapped on. Weak, fragile, poorly armed. The chamber filled with laughter. The younger delegates joined in, eager to show contempt. Another alien, a scale creature from the Kuth Empire, hissed, "They build slow. They think slow. They fight slow. One strike from a true war fleet, and Earth will kneel." The laughter grew louder. For many, the humans were an old joke. Records from the Council archives described Earth as a backwater world, poor in resources, weak in numbers, and always late to adapt. To them, humanity was harmless. But at the far end of the chamber, an old counselor remained silent. His eyes were deep, his skin wrinkled by centuries of service. When the laughter faded, his voice carried across the hall. "Do not laugh too soon," the old one warned. "Humans are not as weak as you believe. When they appear small, they are hiding something. And when they are silent, they are preparing." Some snickered at his words, but a few shifted uncomfortably. Still, most dismissed his warning. The Empire of Jor, a dominant force in the galaxy, had already declared its intent. Their fleets would test Earth's defenses, crush their so-called navy, and make them pay tribute. "Better to erase them now," said the Jor commander with a cruel smile. "One strike, and no one will speak of humans again." The Council voted. The fleets would move. Humanity would be tested. News spread fast across the stars. Alien citizens filled markets with talk of Earth. Children repeated the jokes of their elders. Some even bet on how long the humans would last: days, hours, or only minutes. To most, it was certain the humans were doomed. But deep inside Earth's hidden command centers, silence ruled. No panic, no begging, no surrender. Only calm voices giving orders. And somewhere, far from the eyes of the galaxy, something stirred. The alien fleets moved with confidence. Thousands of warships gathered near the human borders. Their admirals laughed as they watched the small human fleet form up, dozens of ships against thousands. "They bring freighters to fight us," one alien captain sneered. "Perhaps they think trade ships can scare us," another joked. Even their sensors mocked the humans. The scan showed nothing unusual, just small vessels, weak shields, and weapons too old to matter. The alien commanders prepared their strike. But then the sensors screamed. From the shadows of space, something moved. A single ship emerged, slow, silent, and massive. At first, the aliens thought it was a moon drifting out of orbit, but the shape was too sharp, too deliberate. Armor plating stretched across its surface. Its engines glowed with a power not seen in the Council's records. The laughter died. "What is that?" one admiral whispered. "Our scans, they cannot read it," another answered. "It does not match any registry. It does not exist." The human fleet did not move. They simply made way, letting the massive vessel glide forward. The smaller ships looked like insects beside it. The aliens stared in silence. For the first time, doubt crept into their minds. Then a human voice echoed across all channels. "Calm, cold, clear. This is Earth Command. You have one chance. Turn back or witness extinction. No threats. No insults. Just a warning." The alien admirals laughed nervously, trying to shake off their fear. "One ship cannot fight us all," one declared. "Fire on it. Show them their place." The order was given. Thousands of alien weapons locked onto the lone human ship. Missiles, beams, plasma, all charged and ready. The galaxy watched, certain this was the end. But something was wrong. The alien fleet's targeting systems flickered. Sensors glitched. Whole screens went black. Crew shouted in confusion. The massive human ship did not fire, did not move, yet the stars around it seemed to bend. The old counselor's words returned like a whisper. When humans appear small, they are hiding something. When they are silent, they are preparing. And now, the galaxy would learn what Earth had been hiding.